What would you do if the man your wife was sleeping with was the same one who high-fived your son every morning at the pool? The screen of her phone cast a pale, sickly glow in our dark bedroom at 2 a.m., and the name on the notification wasn't mine. It was Coach Dave, the swim coach, our son's mentor, the man we trusted every summer. My heart didn't just break, it detonated, leaving a crater where my life used to be. I saw the message preview. Can't stop thinking about last night. You're incredible. Every family barbecue, every proud moment watching our son at a swim meet, every casual thanks. Coach, I'd ever uttered it, all curdled into a black poison in my gut. This wasn't just cheating, this was a demolition. And in that silent, shattering moment, I knew I wouldn't just leave. I would wait, I would watch, and I would burn their world to the ground. If you genuinely enjoy our stories, please subscribe to the channel. Tell us where you're from and what time it is right now. It's always fascinating to know how far our story flows. For 15 years, Sarah was the sun my world orbited around. We built a life in a quiet suburb of Chicago, on a street lined with oak trees and the laughter of children. Our son Leo was our universe. He was a talented swimmer, and Coach Dave was his hero. Dave was a fixture in our lives, a charismatic figure with a perpetual tan and a blindingly white smile. He and his wife, Jennifer, were our friends. We had them over for dinners, our kids had sleepovers. The betrayal wasn't just a knife in my back. It was a blade twisted through the heart of our entire social circle. The strange behavior started subtly. Sarah, once warm and present, became distant, her phone permanently attached to her hand. She started having late meetings and girls' nights that stretched into the early morning. When I'd ask, her answers were clipped, defensive. "You're being paranoid, Michael," she'd say, her eyes cold and dismissive. She made me feel small, foolish for even questioning her. The villains felt untouchable, wrapped in the cozy blanket of our shared community. The discovery was a slow, agonizing bleed. A credit card receipt for a hotel bar in downtown Chicago on a night she was supposedly at a book club. A hushed phone call she took in the garage, her voice a low murmur I couldn't quite catch. Then came the 2 a.m. notification. I didn't confront her, not yet. The initial shock gave way to a chilling clarity. I felt myself break that night, but what grew in its place was something cold and hard. I started gathering proof. I installed a keylogger on our home computer. I recovered deleted texts. The messages were a sickening chronicle of their affair, explicit details of their meetings at a cheap motel off the I-90, mocking comments about me, plans for a future they were building on the ruins of my life. The worst part was reading their texts during Leo's swim meets. While I was in the stands, cheering our son on, they were texting each other from opposite ends of the pool, planning their next tryst. The humiliation was a physical weight. I set the traps carefully, methodically. I consulted a divorce attorney, one of the most ruthless in Chicago, and put him on retainer. I opened a new bank account and quietly began moving my personal savings. I documented everything, every text, every receipt, every lie. The public exposure was planned like a military operation. It was the annual end-of-summer awards banquet for the swim team held at the Oak Brook Hills Resort. The entire community was there. Sarah was glowing, seated next to Jennifer, Dave's wife. Dave was at the podium, giving a speech about sportsmanship and integrity. As he finished, I stood up. I had arranged with the event staff to use the projector. Before we hand out the awards, I said, my voice steady, I'd like to share a short tribute to family and commitment. On the giant screen behind Dave, a slideshow began. It started with photos of our family, of Leo, of all of us at team events. Then, the images changed. A screenshot of a text from Sarah to Dave. He has no idea. So pathetic. A photo I had taken from my car of them kissing in the motel parking lot. A printout of a hotel bill, in Sarah's name, for a room booked on our anniversary. A gasp rippled through the ballroom. Jennifer, Dave's wife, stared at the screen, her face ashen. Sarah's arrogant smile dissolved into a mask of pure horror. Dave stood frozen at the podium, his smug facade crumbling into dust. I let the final image, a close-up of them wrapped in each other's arms, hang in the silence. Then I turned to Sarah. "It's over," I said, my voice devoid of all emotion.
Ow.
"My lawyer will be in touch." The aftermath was brutal. Dave was fired immediately. Jennifer filed for divorce the next day, using the evidence I provided. Sarah was a social pariah. our friends scattered like cockroaches in the light. She was left with nothing, no husband, no lover, no social standing. The court proceedings were a formality. With the mountain of evidence I had, she was destroyed. She lost the house, she lost any claim to my assets, and she was forced to accept supervised visitation with Leo, who could barely look at her. The last time I saw her, she was packing her things into a small U-Haul, her face pale and drawn. The arrogance was gone, replaced by a hollow emptiness. I still live in the house. Oak trees outside are bare now, their branches like skeletal fingers against the gray winter sky, sometimes late at night. I walk past Leo's room and see the blue first-place ribbons hanging on his wall. Each one a silent, haunting reminder of the man who trained my son and destroyed my life. The end.